My wife and I got married young to young, and have been married 9 years. I am 33, spouse is 30. We have a 6-year-old child. I love my child. In years 2 to 3 of our marriage, my wife had an affair. She was meeting up with a male from her work and had been for about a year. It was upsetting, but I can still remember I did not experience total devastation or something like I am now. More on that later. I believe we had worked through it. I had told her I had forgiven her, and I to this day I think I have. We went to counseling for it, and I don't think of her affair nearly ever, though there has been a few times where I was suspicious that she was engaging in another affair. I choose to believe she was not, and I did not ask her, because I had told her I had forgiven her and did not want to rub something. We had moved on from into her again. I believed I had arrived at the point where I had forgiven and somewhat moved on. However, in the aftermath of the affair, our sex life, which was never good even in the beginning of our marriage, began to deteriorate even further. I began to search for an app to fulfill what I believed was only some physical needs. My wife and I would have sex perhaps 3 to 4 times a year. I actually thought at this point my wife and I had a good relationship, outside of this issue with sex. But our relationship felt more like a deep friendship rather than romance marriage. We had gone to counseling for the sex issues after the affair, but ultimately nothing really changed, despite a few years of counseling. I met up with a couple of different women, but at one point met with a woman I will call P27F. I met her and we went on a date or two and began to sleep together. P did not know that I was married. We continued to sleep together off and on for about 3 years, and by all accounts it was a friends with benefits type of relationship, though when we were together it felt as if we were a couple. We snuggled, hung out, and did things outside of the bedroom, and it was a blast. P and I remained good friends, shared memes through chatting, something we both enjoyed. She introduced me to quite a bit of new music I had never listened to and ended up enjoying, and she would send me updates about her life, as I would do to her. We began to see each other less and less in spring and summer of 2021 as we were both extremely busy, but still chatted via text and met up a few times. We would do things outside of just having sex, and actually just have fun together. P knew most things about me: my job, my hobbies and passions, sense of humor, sexual preferences. The only thing she did not know was I was married with a son. P was incredibly respectful of my privacy, as my job involves me being somewhat of a public figure. P was aware of my job, so she only told 2 to 3 of her friends about our relationship. P's 2 friends were aware we were sleeping together or what I did for work. P's friends knew that I was a very private person. I don't have social media accounts, etc. P recently relocated to another state far away from me over the summer, and though she had moved, we remained on good terms and in touch and chatted regularly. She would send me pictures of her, and we were planning on getting together when she was coming to visit in the end of October for a business trip. A few days ago, I was contacted by one of P's friends who had essentially searched the internet for hours because all she knew was my first name and occupation. P's friend contacted me and I learned that P passed away suddenly. I cannot say the cause of death because of privacy of P's family, but it was not suicide. I am trying to understand my feelings, but I am absolutely devastated. I have been very lucky, and thus far in my life I have only lost elderly relatives who I was not close to emotionally, to chronic diseases where it was known for months that they would be passing away. So I am not sure if this is the normal feelings of grief for a death that is sudden and completely unexpected. I have never felt this level of despair, dread, and sadness ever in my life. I have had bouts of what I believe to be panic attacks. My body twitches uncontrollably, heart racing for no reason, feeling out of breath though I am just sitting there. This is what brings me to the point of where I am seeking advice. It seems obvious that I cared for P much more than I ever allowed myself to ever fully feel or realize. I cannot believe P is gone, and I have this feeling of carrying the darkest cloud of regret, that perhaps I actually loved P and never told her. I know I'm feeling I should have come clean to P and told her that I truly cared, and most of all, I should have told P I was married, left my wife, and made the move to pursue a serious relationship with P. My despair and sadness was made worse when I went and met with P's friend, who still lives in the same state as I do. Because P and I had no mutual friends, I had no people to talk about with P except her friend. When we met and grieved, P's friend made me aware that P indeed had romantic feelings for me. But P was respectful in knowing that we had been friends with benefits, and so she did not ever bring up the idea of becoming more serious. This was absolutely heartbreaking for me to hear, and to know that I will not be able to ever tell P my feelings about her or hold her again brings me the greatest sadness and despair that I have ever felt. Now I feel like I am at a crossroads in my life. I wonder if the reason I stayed with my wife after her affair with her coworker was because I chose convenience over divorce. We had our child paternity test did confirm that the child is mine biologically. So divorce with kids, splitting of property, money, etc. It's so messy. Did I choose convenience of staying in my marriage over actually separating from my wife and being with P, even though it would have been messy? Of course, I don't know if P would have even accepted me after she found out I was married with a child. I am feeling some of the big lessons I am supposed to take out of this tragic loss of P is that life is too short and precious to not tell the people you care deeply about exactly how you feel about them, and also that life is too short to remain in a spot that does not truly make me fulfilled or happy. I told my wife that a friend of mine from a gaming club that met every once in a while passed away. She has said that she's sorry and understands it's sad, but she has said she is confused as to why I am so devastated. Obviously because she doesn't know the whole story. I can't, at least not yet, fully tell her why I feel so devastated because I am trying to figure out if the feelings I am experiencing. My questions. 1. Are my feelings a product of grief over losing P, and temporary because they are based around the intense sadness and grief I am still experiencing? P passed away 6 days ago as of this post. Or 2. Has the death of P has actually triggered a much deeper question within myself about my own happiness and direction in life, and it's worth taking the risk of getting a divorce in order to pursue happiness? I know one thing: I don't want to have an affair again. I can't handle the secrecy. I can't handle not being fully transparent. My life is too short to not tell people how you feel, regardless of it's a hard conversation of telling them that something isn't working, or the wonderful celebration of saying I love you and I want to be with you and make you happy. Fortunately, I begin individual counseling sessions tomorrow, and I will be 100% truthful and honest with my therapist. I know that the choice I have to remain or leave my marriage is life-altering and is not a choice I will make for a while until I have explored the entire situation with my therapist and prayed, meditated, thought about it. Thank you to all who have read the whole post. To P, I love you and I know one day I will see you again.